keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the 49ers versus Houston Texans game preview show. This should be a lot of fun, Alex, because the game preview show is coming out. But we can't exactly tell you who's going to be playing quarterback yet because Kyle Shanahan is keeping everything close to the vest, but we haven't been able to put our thumb on who is going to be starting quarterback.
The puns are just rolling, and they're just they're just great on this channel. They're top notch, They're top notch puns. Can't quite put my thumb on it either, why they're so good, but they're fantastic nonetheless. And look, this will be the last preview show from the Vrabel household. So, Vrabel, thank you for the hospitality and for showing me such a great time out here. It's been a lot of fun. But look, I'm excited to get back in studio with you and get back to grinding out this 49ers content and, getting us back into our normal flow and normal rhythm. But the 49ers are looking to get back into normal flow and normal rhythm. What a segue, Ant. Because they're coming off of a game which they should have won in this against the Tennessee Titans on Thursday Night Football on a short week in which a lot of things didn't go well, including Jimmy Garoppolo going down with an injury second quarter of that football game, playing through it and finding his rhythm late. And now the questions are in the air. Is it Jimmy? Is it Trey? What's going to happen? What is this team going to do? What is the offense going to look like? And we'll dive into this a little more in depth in the game plan video that comes out Saturday. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, so you don't miss that. So you can kind of get an idea of what we think the offense will look like under Jimmy and what the offense will look like potentially under Trey, or if we have an answer by that point, which you and I both doubt that will be the case. But the 49ers are going to need to go out offensively and establish the run game. That's going to be the important thing, because if Jimmy's got a bum thumb and he isn't good to go and he's the quarterback, you got to run the football to make it a little bit easier for him to make the throws you want him to make. And if it's Trey, you want to take pressure off the young quarterback and not have to rely on him to throw the ball 30, 40 times in just his second NFL start.
Yeah, and the All-22 film kind of shows that the Houston Texans have some weaknesses in the front seven. One of those being weak side linebacker. That's an area where you can attack, you can go after them. So getting the run game going early is going to be something they need to do. That's going to make these linebackers creep up a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. That way you can find a void behind the line of scrimmage and in front of those safeties that you can attack. The Houston Texans also want to sit in, base shell coverages, whether that's a 3 or a 2-deep look, the cover 3 with a single safety, or, the 2-deep look. They want to sit in those. However, to stop the run, they have to commit one of those guys to the box, which means they're not able to sit back in a 2-deep safety look, which means there's going to be opportunities to get the ball into the mid-range area right behind the linebackers. And that is an area that Jimmy Garoppolo, of course, has been very successful throughout his career, and especially his time with San Francisco. And Trey Lance needs to be successful. So establishing this run game is going to be something the 49ers need to do early. And if they're able to handle that and able to get this going, I look for that void to be filled with great 49ers players making tremendous catches and run after the catches. The little 2-yard throws that Jimmy Garoppolo consistently makes to get taken 80 yards, even though it's 5 to 10 yard throws that he makes on a consistent basis. But yeah, I think that's gonna be an area they want to live, whether that's Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance. Establishing the run, making the Houston Texans commit an 8th defender to the box is going to be the most important thing to start this game out.
1,000%. And Brandon, George, and Debo, oh my, that's what you want, right? You want Brandon catching one over the middle and breaking some tackles. You want George doing the same thing, Mr. Kittle. And then you want Debo Samuel being able to do that as well. And I imagine Debo is going to get utilized in the run game as well. But hopefully the addition of Elijah Mitchell back into the lineup, back into the running game, will give this run game that extra little kick, and where it won't seem like with Jeff Wilson, it feels like, 5 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards at a time. He just kind of little things here and there and kind of just chips away. And, even when he has what looks like a lane to break, it goes like 8 or 9. Hopefully Elijah Mitchell's able to take that and put together some 15, 20-plus yard runs and really chunk out yards. Because what have we seen from the 49ers? When they have chunk plays, chunk plays and drives, it ends in points. That's typically what happens with this team. They're one of the most efficient teams in the red zone, and when they're chunking plays out on drives, they get into rhythms, and once they're in a rhythm, they're getting in the red zone, and once they're in the red zone, they're coming away with points. That's what this team has done. That's who they've been. So if you can do it with your run game and chunk some plays out early, it's going to make it easier for your young quarterback and Trey Lance to be able to dissect, get guys coming up to the line of scrimmage, really excelling and committing to that run game, and then being able to find the guys out in space one-on-one or easily diagnose, hey, this is easily cover 3 here. I can see that with my own eyes. There's a deep safety single side of the field. I got 2 corners bailing. All right, I know where I can go with the football. I've seen the linebackers coming up. I'm going to put the ball here in space. This is the read. This is what we've worked on. I've seen Jimmy do this 1,000 times. It's my turn now to go do this. So, yeah, either way, no matter who it is but under center, the run game is going to be priority numero uno, and that means, Ant, that your O-line has to take care of business against this front that you talked about that likes to put sometimes 9 guys in the box. I mean, they are going to bring guys down because they cannot stop with 7. If they can't stop with 7, it's just you have to be able to, number one, get them to commit those guys, and then number 2, capitalize. So we'll see how this looks. We'll see how they decide to go about getting it done. Are you expecting an opening toss to start the game this Sunday? Is that back on the docket now? Are we back to opening sweep place to open 49ers contest?
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. It all depends on what the Houston Texans want to show them. Because if the Houston Texans want to come up in one of these defensive sets where they put 5 guys at the line of scrimmage and run this 5-2 look, and they go with any sort of 2 deep safety look, or even the cover 3 shell that they've been running pretty consistently, you are going to have avenues to be able to run the ball. They like to play their corners off. They like to make you beat them underneath, then they rally and make tackles. They're not a team that comes up on you a lot of times, at least from the film that we've been watching. So I think that there is avenues to be able to get the ball outside. And, I mean, there's an outside zone that you can take advantage of, especially to the weak side. So a weak side pitch would make a lot of sense for the 49ers early in this football game. I know the key for Kyle Shanahan is going to be winning on first down, winning on second down, so that way he has third and manageable. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. That's just successful NFL offensive play, and that's what they're trying to reach for, and that's what they're trying to get. And so that's going to be the key, is these early first down successes, whether that is running the football or throwing. The last 2 weeks they've had to throw to loosen up the defense to be able to run the ball consistently. Elijah Mitchell was missing. When Deebo Samuel wasn't in the backfield, you're right, Jeff Wilson Jr. was getting 3 to 4 yards a carry. It wasn't the big scampers. There was the occasional one, especially against the Bengals, where he would get the 16 to 18-yard scampers that really opened it up. But that was after Jimmy Garoppolo had established this pass game, after he was hitting George Kittle, hitting Deebo Samuel, and getting the ball down the field to these guys. So I think that the 49ers are going to have to flip the script a little bit. They're going to have to attack with the run and allow that to establish the pass this week, no matter who the quarterback is, whether they're wanting Trey Lance to ease in or if they're wanting Jimmy Garoppolo to feel comfortable with his thumb. I will say this. If Trey Lance is the quarterback, they need to get one of those passes out of the way in the first couple of plays because they need him to settle in. They need to get him on the move, get him a nice, easy throw that he can complete to make him ease in. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't need that. He's a seasoned veteran. He knows how to handle his emotions, but that'll bring Trey down a little bit and then let him be successful. Once he gets that first throw down, I think he'll ease in. So I think either way, though, the game plan is kind of similar this week. Establish a run and let the pass come off of that.
Agreed with you, and that's why my offensive key matchup is this 49ers run game against this Texans front 8, because I don't expect them to not bring 8 guys. I expect that to be the case. And if they come at us with 7, they come at us with 6, I expect the 49ers to run the ball all over this team in those scenarios, in those situations. But I expect them to have success. And we saw it on the All-22 film. Know Your Opponent comes out after this at 2 p.m., so make sure you don't miss that because we go into the All-22 film, take a look at their game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we watch the Jaguars have success running weak side against this Texans team, against this Texans defense that had 8 guys in the box. And you and I are both sitting there going, weak side linebacker play is not very good, but even their front side play on some of these sets and formations with 8, 9 guys in the box is not solid, and the Jaguars are able to run the football successfully. And the Jaguars O-line is not getting up to second level and securing blocks and blocking the same way this 49ers front does. This 49ers O-line operates at a completely different level than most teams, and the way Kyle schemes it up is different than most teams. So if you're able to secure your blocks, hit your blocks, find your holes, and get going early in this game, it is going to be a long day for this Houston Texans football team.
Yeah, the Houston Texans football team, especially their defense, has been playing better and better as this year has gone on. This is not a pushover game, but what it is we talk about styles making fights. Their front and their front seven and front eight, as you eloquently put it, because they're going to have to bring a safety into the box, is not very good to go against the 49ers offense in the way that they scheme it. The 49ers offense can take advantage of the outside zone. They can run the sweeps, they can run gap plays, and they can go right at you with ISO attack plays. And that's where I think that the weaknesses lie with the Houston Texans. If you get them in a situation where you can go weak side with Kyle Juszczyk leading the way, and you can isolate that weak side linebacker, the 49ers are going to be able to run the football on him. I think that this is an opportunity for them to really get after it and really smash down on them and limit the amount of opportunities the Houston Texans actually have on offense. You can also take control, a stranglehold, of running the clock and using the clock to your advantage. I think this is going to be a big game for the 49ers as far as making sure that you take advantage of the situations that are afforded to you. And one of those is going to be clock management, field position, and ultimately not turning over the football. And I think if you do those things, you have an opportunity to beat the Houston Texans. But you're right, it's all going to start with getting that run game going and defeating the 8-man in the box and making sure that your quarterback, no matter who that is, finds those opportunities to Oscar, as you say, which is flip the run to the other side, or, can the play go from run to pass, whatever it is, take advantage of those. And when they do creep, and they will do this, they'll put 9 guys in the box. When they do that, take your whole shot chance. Hit your wide receiver down the field, hit your tight end for a big-time play, and make them regret doing it so they never think about doing it again, and you can go back to running the football again. And then
1,000%.
Yeah, for my key matchup, Alex, it's going to be the 49ers playmakers against this Texans defensive backs. And the reason I say that is because these playmakers are going to have to take the pressure off the quarterback, no matter who that is. If that's Jimmy Garoppolo, if that's Trey Lance, they are going to have to make plays with the ball in their hand, which they do consistently. And I think this is a week that they really have to do it in a big way. Go ahead and go out there and win. We've seen that there was a little bit of struggles from the Chargers. The Chargers got it going early, but then when they, later in that game, the Texans clamped down. Justin Herbert was forced to make some mistakes. In fact, his stat line was identical to Jimmy Garoppolo's from the last week's game. You cannot have that sort of performance from your quarterback this week and expect to win. I don't expect that to happen because I know Kyle Shanahan is going to scheme this up. There's going to be more open receivers than you see from the Chargers, and he's going to get the ball into his hands of his playmakers, and they're going to make plays for him because right now Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and George Kittle are the most dangerous threesome in the skill positions that I think that there is in the NFL. You sprinkle in the fact that you got Elijah Mitchell to go back to it, and I think that this could be a week where they explode and have a nice game. Now, I'm not counting out the Houston Texans. They have been playing well, but after watching the All-22 film, I'm not as worried about them as I thought I was going to be after watching their performance against the Chargers.
I agreed with you, and part of that, Ant, was because the Chargers were missing that firepower. They were missing those playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. No Austin Eckler, no Mike Williams. You were down to Keenan Allen and then a handful of young wide receivers and Jalen Guyton, Justin Jackson at the running back position. And I am blanking on the other guy, and I apologize to Chargers fans out there because I know
Jalen Guyton might have been on COVID.
Jalen Guyton was also on COVID. You were correct. So they were rolling with the guy behind Guyton, and I'm blanking on his name. So Chargers fans out there, I apologize. Fantasy football gurus, shame on me because I play a lot of fantasy football, but it is what it is. Look, the Niners aren't in that situation, though, Ant. They're not in that position. Your key playmakers are healthy. They're available, and you're getting one back in Elijah Mitchell, which means all systems should be a go, and that's a positive thing for the 49ers. And I agree with you based on that film that we watched, both of the Texans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Texans versus that Los Angeles Chargers team. There are a lot of areas for the 49ers to attack with all of these weapons and pieces healthy. It just comes down to limiting mistakes. And while offensively we want to limit mistakes, you want to maximize them on the other side of the ball because you have Davis Mills and a young quarterback in this league who is making, I think, his 4th start or 5th start this season, I believe is what it is. It's right around that area. So still relatively fresh green, I guess is the right way to call it. He hasn't had a lot of experience in the league. Also, Ant, from the All-22 film we watched, he is not going to check out of plays. Not at all.
No, I mean, that's something that he didn't do in the games. It didn't matter if he came up and he saw 8 in the box or he came up and he saw 7 in the box and it was a favorable run box. He just didn't alter it. He ran whatever he was going to run, and they were able to have some success against Jacksonville, and I think we saw the same thing from the 49ers when the 49ers played them. So you know what you're going to get from Davis Mills. He's going to go out there and he's going to try to get the ball out of his hands quick. He's going to try to locate his receivers and let them make the plays. And against the Jacksonville Jaguars, part of the game plan was just get the ball to Brandon Cooks. Let Brandon Cooks make things happen. Let's max protect. Let Brandon Cooks find an avenue to make things happen. And he seemed like he felt comfortable going to Cooks, and that Cooks is going to be a weapon that he's going to want to go with all the time. As somebody that is familiar with Brandon Cooks, seeing him play around our area a lot, Alex, I do not blame him. He's a very athletic guy, extremely gifted, and with the ball in his hands, he's absolutely dangerous. We've often considered him to be someone we'd love to see in Kyle Shanahan's offense playing for the 49ers because of that elite speed, but his ability. And he's played in some of the biggest games that there is, whether that was with the Rams or with the Patriots. He's played in big games. He understands what it takes, and he's going to be hyped for this game. He's going to be playing in front of a somewhat home crowd in Santa Clara. He'll be playing in front of a lot of fans. I'm sure he'll have a nice group there. So this is going to be interesting. But yeah, Davis Mills is a quarterback to watch because he was somebody I was actually high on coming out of the draft. I believe he has some ability to develop into a potential, starter for a while. I don't know if he's going to be a big-time starter, but that medium range starter in this league, the 15-plus areas where I think he can develop into.
Yeah, he definitely can. And not only that, but we have a situation with Davis Mills where we've seen some of the development. This is a guy early in the season who wasn't comfortable throwing underneath, wasn't as comfortable with some of the timing routes and getting the ball out quick. And we've seen him now being able to get that ball out quickly. He's able to extend some plays in certain situations and throw some balls away or throw some balls into the ground that ends up being incomplete passes instead of sacks. So Davis Mills has definitely developed in this system, and he's very comfortable. And it's not a surprise. He's a pocket presence type of quarterback. That was always one of his strengths, and was being able to get rid of the ball quickly and diagnose and dissect. So Davis Mills developing in that area is not a shock. But Davis Mills not being able to check in and out of plays, it's not a shock. It's a positive thing for the 49ers because now you can scheme things up, right? DeMeco Ryans can really get into the nitty-gritty of this and really confuse this guy and make him pre-snap see this and be like, okay, well, I know this isn't necessarily a favorable run box, or I know there's not a favorable pass box here or pass situation, but I'm going to run this and I got this coverage, which means I'm probably going here with the football, and now it's not that at all. It's something else entirely, and he's holding onto the ball a little bit longer and maybe starting to revert back to the Davis Mills we saw early in the football season. But this is why my key matchup is so important. It's Jaquiski Tartt and Jimmy Ward and against Brandon Cooks and Mr. Johnson, Mr. David Johnson, in fact, because he's kind of taken over the lead back role in the Texans offense, I guess, kind of, sort of. Look, at the end of the day, Brandon Cooks is going to be a security blanket. David Johnson is going to be a check down option for him on pass situations. These are the two guys that he has been throwing a lot of passes to in football games and key downs and crucial situations, and they have been converting the last few weeks. Now, Brandon Cooks wasn't on the field last week, but David Johnson was, and David Johnson didn't have a huge week, but he did make some big third down stuff for that Houston Texans team. So those are guys coming out of the backfield, and they're going to be slot guys as well out in space. When they're in those positions, and you got Jaquiski Tartt and Jimmy Ward in those spots, number one, in the run game, they've been phenomenal. They need to keep being phenomenal to slow down this run attack and keep David Johnson bottled up. And number two, when Brandon Cooks is out there in space, and whether they're in charge of being a bracket coverage guy, having a deep third over the middle, or matched up one-on-one, they need to slow down Brandon Cooks, take away the strength, make Davis Mills go somewhere else with the football, make someone else beat you, not name Brandon Cooks, please, for the love of God.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we've been, kind of referring to this for a couple of weeks, that Brandon Cooks kind of puts the fear of God into us as far as going against these cornerbacks, especially in one-on-one situations. I think Ambry Thomas is the one that's, most able to handle it because he's more athletic of a player than, you got from over on the other side with Norman. Norman will grab and pull. So when Brandon Cooks is on him, we need to make sure that we get a safety over the help, over the top to help, although we get some sort of help underneath because Norman's going to have to play off a lot. And we want to make Davis Mills feel uncomfortable. And my key matchup in this football game is Davis Mills versus DeMeco Ryans, because I want Ryans to be able to confuse him. You alluded to this a little bit. Is what DeMeco Ryans has been able to do to the quarterbacks has been different against everyone, right? He changed it up, whether it was Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray, where he confused them with coverage and made them, second guess their first read, or if it was Justin Fields, where they pretty much gave him his first read and just said, you're going to check it down all game. We don't think you can be consistent. or whether they just completely fooled Trevor Lawrence pretty much the entire game and made him feel uncomfortable. I think we're going to see the latter. They're going to go after the way they went after Trevor Lawrence. They're going to try to make this guy feel confused from the very beginning, make him not trust his eyes, see things that aren't there, and by doing that, they're going to go after him and take care of him. And I think DeMeco Ryans is somewhat comfortable, with the Houston Texans organization as it is, as he played there and he coached there. So he's going to have an understanding of what's going on, with the Houston Texans and that organization. I think he's going to want to take it to him. And I think one of the things he's going to do is get after this young quarterback early. He's going to have these guys pinning their ears back and getting after him. And the Houston Texans are going to have to prove that they can run the football consistently on the 49ers front seven. And if they can't, and the 49ers can keep the two deep safety looks, if they can keep Tart and Jimmy Ward deep, this is going to be a long day for the Texans. If the Texans can get the run going and the 49ers have to commit one of those safeties, there will be opportunities for Davis Mills and Brandon Cooks to get the ball down the field and take advantage of, what has been a real weakness for the 49ers at times in the cornerback position.
1,000%, Ant. 1,000%. That's been one of the strengths of the Niners this year is that front seven. Front seven being able to slow down the run game. Front seven being able to really curtail teams and really, pump the brakes on them being able to have success and build rhythm themselves offensively. The front seven is able to do it. And when that happens, you're able to keep your safeties back. You're able to show cover 2, cover 4, and then rotate into cover 3 looks, if not cover 1 looks with a robber. And you can do that consistently and comfortably without tipping your hand or giving things away by having a guy having to start in the box to be there to handle the run game because you have faith that the rest of your guys in space can. K'Wan Williams has been a big part of that, the shark, and he steps in a big way in the run fits as well. And coming off the edge on blitzes, he makes things very difficult. But no, I didn't think about that until you said it. This is a big game for DeMeco Ryans. The Houston Texans is where everything kind of started for him. It's where his career was. It's where his coaching career started as well. I mean, there are a lot of ties here to this football team, and this is an opportunity for him to really, put a stamp on this season and this defense and what he's been able to do in this 2021 campaign with this team and this group that has been limited and hampered by the departure of Dre Greenlaw, to injury, Jason Verrett to injury, and now Azeez Al-Shaair as well. This is a big week for DeMeco Ryans, and I expect him to be on his A game, and I expect this defense to step up yet again despite missing pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Marcel Harris and Flanagan Fowles are going to have to flash, and they're going to have to make stops in the run game. And we're going to see if they can do it early on. So far, they've shown great improvement. Marcel Harris flashed last week, but that was him playing, a different linebacker role. He's playing that third linebacker next to Azeez and Fred Warner. So we'll see how they scheme it up and how they're able to handle it. But so far, over the last 6 weeks, this 49ers defensive line has limited the amount of run lanes that have been available for these other teams. And they stopped a very, very good Tennessee Titans team from being able to run the ball on them last week. So I expect there to be, some sort of success there. And if there is, that is good situations for the 49ers. And the 49ers definitely want to win this game right now. Leave no doubt that they are a playoff team. And if they win it, I have a feeling that one of these other teams is going to help them out and lose the game so that way they can go ahead and clinch.
Other teams, please. Pretty please. Sugar on top, ice cream in the middle, make all the 49ers fans happy. And the 49ers are going to take care of business. And one of the ways they can take care of business is by making our Wow That's Bold predictions come true. That's right, Cutback crew. It's this time of every game preview show. We're going to give you our bold takes on what the Niners are going to do versus this Houston Texans team on Sunday. It's time for Wow That's Bold.
Wow, that's really bold. Whoa. Whoa.
And it's time for Wow That's Bold, and I have a feeling just because of all the uncertainty surrounding this team, both offensively and I guess a little bit defensively with Azeez out, that we're going to have some very interesting bold predictions, and I'm going to start. Might as well start it off with a bang and start it off with a little zest, a little spice for our Wow That's Bold segment. The 49ers quarterback room, that's right, folks, you heard me, quarterback room is going to account for 3 touchdowns. In fact, I have it listed out here, and Trey Lance is going to throw for two tutties, 1 to George Kittle and 1 to Deebo Samuel. And Jimmy Garoppolo is going to rush for a touchdown. Talk about inverting and flipping. And they're going to get – Trey Lance is going to have a big play in the red zone that's going to get them to the 1-yard line. What is Kyle Shanahan going to do? He's going to send in the righty. He's going to bring in Jimmy Garoppolo for the old Jimmy sneak, and he's going to punch it in because they're going to bring Jimmy in thinking, oh, it's going to be a loaded run play. No, Jimmy is going to take it with that good old thumb and thumb it right into the end zone.
Okay, that caught me off guard. That's really bold that you would put Jimmy, where the chaos is going to be with the injured thumb. With Trey Lance gets him to the one, but you're letting Jimmy Garoppolo finish with the injured thumb. Okay.
It's the spice, man. It's the spice of life.
There's probably no way
it.
I could top that because it's not just bold, it's ridiculous as well. So we'll leave that at that. Mine is more simple, and that is that Deebo Samuel is going to account for over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game, and he's going to be one of the main reasons the 49ers offense gets it done and we're able to beat the Houston.
I mean, that's not only simple, Ant, it's beautiful, it's poetic, it's exactly what every 49ers fan wants to hear, and you know what? Make it happen, Deebo Samuel, and everything will be A-okay for the offense. But defensively, Ant, what is your defensive key matchup? What do you think the 49ers can do against this Texans offense to really give this team an edge on Sunday?
It's going to be all about, my bold prediction on defense is going to be all about third down efficiency. That was one of the problems the 49ers had against the Tennessee Titans, especially in the second half, where Tennessee was able, to convert at a pretty high clip and continue to move the sticks, and that was something that hurt the 49ers. And I think that DeMeco Ryans is going to fix that this week. I think they're going to find a way to get off the field on third down, and I think they're going to hold the Houston Texans to a 34% efficiency rate on third down. That's going to be their conversion rate. They're going to hold them under 35%, and they're going to get it done this week with that nice percentage.
That's a beautiful percentage, man. That puts the Niners in a position where they're going to be forcing a lot of turnover on downs and getting that football back, which is huge. Because if you're getting that football back, Ant, then you're able to flip the field and do all other stuff. It's great for the 49ers, and if the offense is really rolling and clicking, that's more points and more opportunities for points. But there's another way that points can get put up on the board, Ant. There's another way. That's turnovers. And I have the 49ers forcing 4 turnovers in this football game, Ant. 4. Only one of them will be either a fumble or pick 6. So the only one of them will be the defense directly resulting in points for the team. The other ones the offense is going to have to go out and earn. But 4 turnovers, and to make up for last week's 2 that you gave up, you double it up. You course correct, right, the turnover number and percentage and get the Niners back in a positive category there. I think this is a week they can definitely do it. You have a young quarterback, you have a suspect run game, and you have a defensive front, Ant, that doesn't have to overcommit in order to slow down a run game. Could spell disaster for Davis Mills in this offense.
That one's a lot less ridiculous than the first one. So that was just bold, really bold. So well done, sir. It did not border on the line of ridiculousness like you did on the first one. So well done.
Listen, I really appreciate it. I truly, truly do. But look, now it's time to get to lock it up. Now, 2 weeks ago, we did this in the Texans preview show, game preview show, and I wasn't sure if I went 4-0 or not. I did. I went 4-0 in back-to-back weeks. First time in Lock It Up history. I'm not quite sure where everything sits right now with Lock It Up because I don't have my graphic and our things in front of us. We got a very interesting week of Lock It Up. Things are getting spicy. Things are very tight because everyone's picks have been relatively the same. I imagine things are only about a game apart at worst, maybe even at best. It's going to be a very interesting week 18 to decide the regular season Lock It Up champion for season 2 of Lock It Up. But let's get to it, and it's time for Lock It Up with the Azorean one.
Oh, hi there. Cutback. How are ya? Doing good? Did you have a holly jolly Christmas? Did you get everything you asked for? That's great. That's great. That's really great. Me? What did I get for Christmas? Oh, well, here's what I got for Christmas. Yeah, that's what I got. A big 1-3. Yeah. Without any help from our boys in Santa Clara. Yeah. That's what I got. The only bright side is this. The entire cutback went 1-3. It was a great weekend all around for us. So, still there in the running. I'm still there with one lousy game behind Alex. One lousy game. 1-1-1. 1-1-1. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. And you need to focus. You need to realize that things aren't over. I mean, I know it's the last weekend. And I just need some Bruce, I need your help, man. I need you with the water and the flowing. I need that. I need it now, Bruce. I need what? We have one more week after this? You might have forgive my boys yelling in the background. You might have missed it. There's 17 weeks in an NFL season. 17. 18? We have an 18th week? Huh. So there's this week and the next week. Oh. Well, that gives me 2 more attempts. That gives me not just this weekend, but the weekend after. Look what you did. Just like that. Just like that, you made things better. The dragon. Never doubt the dragon. All right, it is week 17 in the NFL 2021-2022 schedule, and these games will be kicking off in the new year. In the future. Being the new year, while many of us are starting off new with resolutions, we are in the finale of Lock It Up, of our picks, but we can take that energy of starting off new, starting off fresh, and putting it into the big finale of Lock It Up, because I know I'm going for that damn title. So anyway, here are my picks for this week's NFC West games. I'm taking the Rams over the Ravens. I'm taking the Seahawks over the Lions, taking the Cowboys over the Cardinals, and of course, our San Francisco 49ers over them Texans. In case we have people from Texas watching, I apologize for that very rude comment. I mean, let's be honest, some of you say yuck, right? Some of you say yuck, no? I admit to California stereotypes. I wear flip-flops with jeans. I do. Proud of it. I don't go beanie in flip-flops. I don't do that. But I do go jeans in flip-flops. So, I mean, there's accurate, stereotypes. Sometimes. Californian, flip-flops, and jeans. So some Texans do say yuck. Are we worried about a Texas audience? Are we worried? Niners cutback? Cowboys are the rival? We don't care, right? We're fine with that? We're okay? Good. Yuck, yuck, yuck. So those are my picks for this week's Lock It Up. One game away from the mountain, from Ty and Alex. Like water. Like water. Happy New Year, Cutback. Have a fabulous 2022. And we'll see you next time for Week 18, the grand finale of the Lock It Up segment. And hopefully a better present than Christmas.
It's time for Lock It Up.
Lock it up, baby. It's always fun. It's always a lot. And, while the Steves was doing his thing, Ant, and giving his shtick and his picks, we were crunching numbers. That's what we were doing. We were crunching numbers, trying to figure out what exactly the actual Lock It Up stuff is, and it is here now. We have it. So currently sitting tied for last is Horse and the Cutback crew at 35 and 29. You are just above that, Ant, and by just above, I mean with a whole 3-game gap between you and the Cutback crew and Horst at 38 and 26. You're 1 game behind Steve's the Azorean one, who's sitting at 39 and 25. And during this whole shenanigans, whole shebang of me being away, I have caught red hot and have caught fire, and I'm 42 and 22 with a nice, 3-game lead or so over Steve's and 4-game lead over you. So I'm feeling really good. And and it feels good to be alone at the top for now.
Okay,
Just
fair
for now.
enough. Yeah, you've had a nice stretch. Well done, sir. You'll never be the inaugural champion, but I mean, guess the second year is good. If you consider that something big, I don't know.
Listen, I'll take it at this point. I'll take something. I have come up short in all of my fantasy football leagues, and except for one, I have one left in which I can be crowned the king of the mountain. And all of the other ones, I finished in at least third place or better. So third or second. And I have one league left which I can finish first. So if I could lock it up this year, I'd feel a lot better. But in all honesty, and I would prefer the Niners making a Super Bowl. That would be better if I could trade in my championship for that. I'll take it. But let's start with the first game.
I would say, Alex, too. Let me say this: is that you better win, or maybe I should have a Steve's as the co-host because I won last year. You would think you would have to pull it out this year and win it. So don't let a Steve's catch you.
I will do everything that I possibly can, and to make sure that does not occur and that does not happen because. None of us want that. You don't want it at all whatsoever. But look, let's start with the first game. Start with the first game on the docket, and it's a game that I guess has the least implications of all the games, but it's definitely not an easy one to pick, and that is the Lions and the Seahawks. And this is a game with two teams that are really just fighting for pride at this point. Both teams eliminated from the playoffs. Not a lot of great things happening for the Seattle Seahawks. They're hoping to just end the season on a good note. They let one slip last week. They're hoping to bounce back in a big way. But the Lions have shown, Ant, that they can compete with just about everybody, and they aren't worried about the number one overall pick. That's not what's going to fix this team, Ant. Culture shift and culture change is going to shift and change this team and change their fortunes. And Dan Campbell has this team wanting to kneecap everybody in sight. We saw who the Azorean one it went with. Who are you going with in this game?
This one was kind of tough for me. I've been going back and forth about who I thought was going to win this football game. You're right. The Lions have been playing, very well. And they got no, I don't know if they're going to have Jared Goff, though. Goff, wasn't playing very much last game. I have some concerns about the quarterback position if it's not Jared Goff, because Goff is still a vastly better quarterback than the backup. So there are questions there. And do I think that the Seahawks team still has a lot of pride? I absolutely do. And that's why I'm actually going to pick the Seahawks. I was very tempted to go with the Lions, but I'm going to pick the Seahawks to win this football game 24-20 in a well-fought, hard-fought football game.
Horst agrees with you, Ant. He is also going with the Seahawks. Obviously, the Azorean one already picked Seattle in his picks. But the Cutback crew, 70% of them are going with this Lions team. And this was one that was tough. I wanted to go Lions. I wanted to pick Lions. But with not knowing the certainty and the status of Jared Goff, it's really hard to, knowing that TJ Hawkinson is out for the rest of the year and isn't out there and isn't the safety blanket for the quarterback who is playing, is not a positive thing as well. There's a lot of injuries on that team. And while I think they'll keep the game close, I think Seattle and Russell Wilson are going to be able to do just enough to be able to come out with a win. And I think them being able to establish the run game with Rashad Penny, which has worked for him well the last few weeks, is going to pay dividends this week. 27-24, Seattle Seahawks. After that, though, Ant, after that Seattle game, we have the Cowboys playing a reeling Arizona Cardinals. This team is completely fallen off the face of the earth. And you know what? And I got to give some credit to J Hill. I know we joked earlier about all the stuff he's been sending us this week. I don't even know if it was J Hill. Maybe it was you that put the graphic up of – who put the graphic up in the group message of Cliff? Was it you?
Me.
Ant put that up, and I'll tell you what, it is a very telling graphic, but J Hill right away jumped on it, was like, oh, my God, this has been happening for longer than we all realized, and it has been. You put up a graphic of Cliff Kingsbury since Texas Tech, and in the second half of seasons has an abysmal record with only a handful of wins in every season dating back to his time in college. This is the Cliff Kingsbury special, Ant, is collapsing the second half of the season. And boy, oh boy, are the Arizona Cardinals doing it in spectacular fashion. Look, Steves is rolling with the Cowboys, who've gotten red hot, and I have to agree with him on this as well. The Cowboys right now, they're playing really good football. They are extremely motivated. The 1 seed is in sight, and it is potentially in their grasp. If they can win out and get some help, they are going to go for it. There's no way Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy don't want that. They 100% would. What would Mike McCarthy like more, Ant? Getting the number 1 seed and be able to potentially see the Green Bay Packers coming to Dallas and stick one back to him, or having to go to Green Bay and deal with the frozen tundra and everything there. He would love for the Green Bay Packers to have to come to Dallas and Jerry's World in order to accomplish it. And I think that the Arizona Cardinals right now are having an identity crisis. They don't know how to run the football. I see the Dallas Cowboys winning this one 34-20.
Yeah, I think there's some real weaknesses with the Arizona offensive line. Without the starting center Rodney Hudson, it's been all over the place. They just really haven't looked consistent. And this is what we were talking about weeks ago. Ever since the crumble cookies got delivered to Evan, we knew that there was a possibility that this Arizona Cardinals team could fall off at the end of the year. They haven't proven that they weren't going to do that. This has been a steady thing since Cliff Kingsbury's been there. You're right. The graphic showed that since it was something ridiculous since 2010. Every single year he has a team that has fallen off. So this is something that happens with Cliff Kingsbury's teams in the second half of the season. I thought the talent was going to be enough maybe to, dispel that this time. I thought maybe they would slip a little bit, but not completely out. But it looks like not only are they going to keep slipping, but they're going to be the 5th wild card spot, because I do believe they're also going to lose to the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are peaking at the right time. The Arizona Cardinals are struggling, and this Dallas pass rush against this Arizona offensive line makes me think Kyler's going to be on the run. So I got the Dallas Cowboys winning the game 31-20.
A good score, Ant. The Horst also agrees with you, going with the Cowboys. Steve's went with the Cowboys, and the Cutback crew going with the Cowboys at 68%. Not a surprise. Everyone has completely lost faith in the Cardinals. And I went from a guy who said he was never going to pick against Arizona for the rest of the season until they showed me they didn't deserve it. And Ant, boy, oh boy, have they showed me they don't deserve it at this point in time. Not getting that pick and not getting it from a lot of us. After that, Ant, you have a very intriguing matchup. You have the Rams and the Ravens. The Rams, a team that had been struggling, has put together a couple of wins. Now, granted, some of the opponents, not necessarily quality at this point of the season, but wins nonetheless when you need to have them, and now find themselves, Ant, in complete control of the NFC West and have the ability to lock this bad boy up. And the Ravens, who went from one of the better records in football, and a team that if you actually watch them, thought to yourself, there's just something not right with that football team, to now a team that's currently not even in a playoff spot. Talk about a big game for the Ravens. If they want to keep their playoff hopes and chances alive, they need this win against the Rams. Where are you going with this game?
Well, I think the real problem has been the quarterback position for the Ravens. They haven't had stability there. They've been without their starting guy, and whenever you're without a guy, and especially a guy that makes up the amount of yards and touches that he makes up in the offense, you're going to struggle a little bit. I think the big problem, though, is the questions on defense. The Bengals absolutely went out there and obliterated them and took care of them, and Joe Burrow went for over 500 yards. This Rams offense, even though Matthew Stafford has been proven to make mistakes, he definitely can put up points. So I think that this is one of those situations where, minus the Ravens showing up to early season form, they're not going to be able to beat this Los Angeles Rams team. I think this Rams team is motivated as well to make sure that they win the division. And I think that as a 49er fan, I kind of want them to win the division at this point, because I want the 49ers' path to the playoffs to be a little bit easier. So I've got the Rams winning this game, although I do think the Ravens are going to keep this thing competitive. They're going to fight with everything they got, because John Harbaugh is a proud coach, and that is a proud organization, and these players really do work hard for each other. But I think it's going to be a tough one. The Rams get it done 26-23.
It's a really good score, and it's a tough game to pick. Steve's went with the Rams. Horst went with the Rams, and the Cutback crew, I think, is 54%. Oh my, 54% going with the Rams. I have tossed and turned over this one. What to do, who to take, what route do I go with this? Is there any way that I could see this thing going the Ravens' favor? And unfortunately, there is. There is a way. And it's the Rams making mistakes and making turnovers offensively, which is something that Stafford has done. He has not really played clean, although the last couple of games have been. This Ravens team is hungry. John Harbaugh knows how to get a lot of his team. And even if you don't have Lamar Jackson out there, then Tyler Huntley has shown he can do a serviceable enough job in the way this offense is constructed to be able to potentially put up the points necessary for them to do something. It really comes down to their defense being able to get stops, and I don't know if they necessarily can, but I think this game is going to be close and it's going to be high scoring, which means I have to ask myself one question. can Justin Tucker make a long field goal? And I think he can. And I've seen him make some long ones before. And I think that's what's going to end up happening. You're going to have maybe not the cleanest necessarily game in the world, but you're going to have a situation that's going to come down to the leg of a kicker, 30 seconds, and the Ravens just needed to get themselves within striking distance, and they're going to do it. And Justin Tucker is going to be able to put one through to get them a win in I wouldn't say an ugly game, but let's just say a very heated game where both teams had a lot to play for. The Ravens somehow, once again this season, sneak away with a 27-24 victory late in this football game. I'm going to go with the Ravens on this. I try each and every week to find a dark horse. I think this might be the week. And listen, as much as I want the 49ers to have that easy path, right, and just know who you got or have an idea of being able to control your own fate in terms of who you see in the first round, it hasn't been that easy for this team all season. I can't expect it to get any easier now.
No, I mean it was a tough game. It was one of those ones that was up in the air. I think the Lions and Seahawks, I felt similar about it. It's kind of like almost a toss-up game. So going with that is not very far-fetched. And you brought up Tucker. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. So that could happen. I think I'm just thinking that at this point, McVay and the Rams just wanted a little bit more, but we'll see what happens when this game gets down to the nitty-gritty. We're going to find out. And that was a big move by you. Well done.
Well, listen, here's the other thing too, right, is this thing could easily go the other way. The way the Ravens have been playing and, this Rams defense and what their strengths are, Aaron Donald could cause a lot of problems, and Jalen Ramsey could come out in a big way and shock people. I mean, the Rams have the capability of doing that. So this thing could go either way. It's going to be a very toss-up sort of game, though, and a game that we didn't think was going to be a toss-up game was the game we're going to talk about now, which is this Niners-Texans game. A lot of 49ers fans had this one on the docket as a win. This is just a W. You mark it off and move on. You don't think about it. And yet the Niners played bad last week and people got a little spooked. And then the Texans went and did what they did the last 2 weeks. And now people aren't so sure, what is happening with this team. And is this game as tight as we all think? Is this game going to be closer than we all anticipate? And is this game really as much of a win or a guaranteed win as some people thought heading into it? Where are you at with this football game? Where are you at with this team? Because we know Steve's is going with the 49ers. We know Horse, the both of us know anyway, that Horse is going with the 49ers. And the Cutback crew is sitting at 97% with the 49ers. 97%. That much amount of faithfulness after a loss. That might be the first time all season that number has been that high after a loss. And are you as faithful as the Cutback crew? Is that?
I think that the 97% is the uptick in people's belief in Trey Lance. I honestly do believe that. That's an extra 2%. But I do share that faith. I have faith in the 49ers. I've made it pretty clear that I'm going to pick the 49ers. I'm going down with the ship no matter what. But I am also going with them because I believe that they can win this football game. I've watched the all-22 film of the Houston Texans. I see avenues for Kyle Shanahan and his offense to be able to attack, no matter if it's a limited Jimmy Garoppolo or, Trey Lance getting his second career start. I think that the 49ers can attack them with the run game. There's going to be opportunities to do so. And I think that the points might be a little bit more limited than we would have seen when Jimmy Garoppolo was at full strength. But I still think it's enough to get it done. And I think that this defense for the 49ers, if they can figure out how to stop the run game with 7 guys in the box and then curtail any chances of Brandon Cooks going deep on one-on-one situations, they can definitely stop this Texans team. And so I think it's going to be 27-17 San Francisco.
I like that score, and 27-17 is a good score. Look, I think the Niners right now, with just all the questions in the air, I can't expect this offense to go up and put up 30 points as much as I think they can do it. I'm just not sure. You're not sure about what Trey Lance's capabilities are on the offense because we haven't seen them. You don't know what Jimmy's full limitations are going to be, although you've seen what it is at its worst, and what it is at its worst is, right, a 17 points and a loss. So I'm going to kind of revert back to how I was in the middle of the season, which was I know this team can put up the points, but they got to prove it to me. So I have the 49ers scoring 20 points and winning this thing 20-13.
Wow.
And doing more than enough to take care of business against the Houston Texans. It's just I'm not sure about the offense yet with Jimmy Garoppolo in the thumb and or Trey Lance. I want both of them or whoever it is to go prove me wrong and put up the points. Now keep in mind, my Wild That's Bold was the 49ers forcing 4 turnovers. So do I think they can do it? Absolutely. But you got to take those 4 turnovers, Ants, and turn them into points. So 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, whoever it is at quarterback, go put up a 40 burger and make me eat crow. Please make me eat crow this week.
Yeah, just remember who has more faith in the offense. Me.
At this point in time, you are correct, Ed. You are accurate. That is a very accurate statement.
Yeah, but I mean, another great episode of Lock It Up. I mean, we get into these picks, and this picks has been fun all year. All of us are well over 500. We're doing well in our picks. And I think that, this has been a fun time, and we're going to, of course, lock it up. We're going to have next week's going to be the showdown, who is going to ultimately win. It's going to be close, and we're going to see if the Steves can pull it off, if he can have the year of all years. He's pulled out every single shenanigan that he could possibly pick, whether that was little insiders or, whatever else he was coming up with. He even had
some help this year.
Yeah, he did. Adam's family, the hand helped him. There's been all kinds of different things to get him into the piece. But the one thing that hasn't changed in any of our picks is we have all went San Francisco all year. It's a belief in this 49ers football team that we believe that every single week they've been in a position to at least compete, Alex. They've been in a position to win a football game where it was believable. In 2020, we didn't have that situation. There were lots of games we knew they were going into and they were probably going to lose. They didn't match up. This is what you can say about this team is they've been competitive. This front office has put them in a position to overcome injuries and overcome, these situations. One of the things was getting a quarterback that could back up Jimmy Garoppolo, that we could have faith in, that could go in there and win football games if Jimmy got hurt. They did that. Trey Lance, if he's going to be playing in this football game, we all feel that he has the ability to go in there and beat the Houston Texans. I think this goes a long way to show what they have done as a franchise, and I'm optimistic about what they can do in the playoffs because history has shown that backup quarterbacks, even if Jimmy's out, backup quarterbacks can not only win you playoff games, but can get you all the way to the Super Bowl. Frank Reich, Jim Hostetler, Super Bowl 20, that was a showdown between those two teams. I'm sorry, Super Bowl 24. That was a showdown between 25. Ugh, I'm really killing it right now. But 1990, Super Bowl 25, 100% that was what it was because that was the wide left, the Norway miss. But anyways, situations like this, they do come up. But, at times, as long as you've built the right way, you have an opportunity. Playoffs will be a different animal. But I like where the 49ers are sitting right now, whether that's injured thumb of Jimmy Garoppolo or not because of the moves they've made.
100%. They've insulated themselves from all sorts of different types of injuries all season long. They've made moves to keep this team competitive, relevant, and they haven't suffered the same amount of injuries that they did in the 2020 campaign that completely derailed the season. And the Niners weren't going to let a few injuries and a little mini injury bug prevent them from becoming the team we all want them to be. They've had a lot of adversity this year. They've had a lot of trials. They've had a lot of tribulations. And this Sunday is a chance to right those wrongs, right this ship, put this team in the driver's seat for a playoff spot, and then hope that the Saints do them a solid and drop a game that they probably shouldn't drop. Saints, take care of business, drop the ball, please. And the 49ers take care of business against this Houston Texans team. So we get out of this thing with a big W, and all 49ers fans are comfortable sitting there knowing we're going to the dance. We're going to the playoffs. We're in there. We're one of those teams, and we're going to have a chance to compete potentially for a Super Bowl. But Cutback Crew, let us know what you thought about this game preview show. Did you like our key matchups? Did you agree with them? Did we miss something? Should we have gone a different direction? And if so, what was it? And then also make sure you're leaving your Wild That's Bold predictions down below because we'll get into some of those during the live stream here at 4:30. But you also don't want to miss Know Your Opponent, which comes up after this at 2 p.m.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to see Sam and Cam try to get it done against the Saints. And then hopefully the Washington football team can handle the Philadelphia Eagles. You have the reports coming out that Jalen Hurts is probably not in their future plans. So maybe that throws a little bit of a wrinkle into his confidence. Hopefully that does sway him a little bit because it would be nice if the 40. What?
I thought he was playing so well.
Yeah. Well, don't always believe what you read on Twitter. It doesn't mean it's true just because it's been posted. But yeah, the 49ers, have an opportunity not only to lock up a playoff spot with a Saints loss and of course a 49ers win, but also with a Washington football team victory over the Eagles, the 49ers would lock up the 6th seed. If they were able to lock up the 6th seed, the week 18 against the Rams would be irrelevant as far as you don't have to win, which means you can handle this situation a tremendously different way. So we're going to be scoreboard watching along the way. 49ers have to take care of the Houston Texans, but after that, we're rooting for a bunch of different teams. Go Panthers, go football team, go get it done. Isn't it weird that Ron Rivera has been a part of the organization for both? Let's root for Ron Rivera's old team and his new team because we need him to get it done.
Take care of business, Riverboat Ron, an old team of former Riverboat Ron. We're rooting for you. Get it done. Matt Rule, that's true. Matt Rule, take care of business, figure it out over there. Whether it's Sam, whether it doesn't matter as long as they rhyme. As long as they rhyme with fam, Ant, because we're all a family this week. All 49ers faithful, Cutback crew, we're all families and fans of the Panthers and the Washington football team. So get it done, those two. Cutback crew, we'll see you for Know Your Opponent and for the live stream after that. Until the next one, though, stay safe.
And remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.